Hello! Today I'm going to introduce a battle that occurred between Union General William T. Sherman and Confederate General Joseph Johnston, and that battle is the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain. Battle of Kennesaw Mountain took place in Georgia on June 27th of 1864 at 8 a.m. that morning. Sherman felt as if he needed to control the railroads, so he began to plan penetrating the Confederate line. The battle began after an intense artillery bombardment. That is when Union General Sherman launched a major attack on Confederate General Johnston, because Sherman did not feel Johnston could handle such assault due to one of his generals, General John Bell. Bell was attacked at Kolb's Farm, Georgia, and lost about 1,500 Confederate soldiers, so Sherman believed his line of army. That is when he began moving towards the center of the Confederate line around the mountain. When he did so, he pretended as if he was going for Johnston's flank, but instead, that is when he went for the center with about 8,000 Union men. It did not work as great as he thought. Sherman ended up being met uphill by Confederate soldiers and losing about the fighting Bishop General Polk and Union soldiers instead. He was not able to break the line. It was bloody and a mess. Ended up being one of the bloodiest days in Atlanta. The total casualties for the battle ended up being about 4,000, with a number of 3,000 dead or wounded on the Union side and 1,000 dead or wounded on the Confederate side, which left Sherman and his troops defeated and leaving Johnston and the Confederates with the victory that they needed. But that didn't stop old Sherman. Although Sherman may have lost, he was still able to advance. Sherman eventually sent McPherson around Johnston's left flank, making them flee the line. Over the next few weeks, Johnston was fleeing back towards Atlanta, which ended up leading him to be removed as the general because of lack of aggression, and although his replacement was no good, he was then replaced by General Hood. 2 weeks later, Sherman eventually sent McPherson around Johnston's left flank, making them flee the line. Over the next few weeks, Johnston was fleeing back towards Atlanta, which ended up leading him to be removed as the general because of lack of aggression, and although his replacement was no good, he was then replaced by General Hood. Impact. This was an important impact because Atlanta was a railroad hub and the Confederacy. It had factories and warehouses that kept the Confederate Army with food and other goods. It stood between the Union Army and two targets, Gulf of Mexico and Charleston to the east. It was also a symbol of Confederate pride and strength, and its fall made even the most loyal Southerners doubt they could win the war.